Hello, beloved soul. Welcome home. You're listening to the Light and Shadow podcast, a sacred space for remembering, reckoning, and rising. I'm Grey, Reiki Master, Seer, Soul Alchemist, and your guide in this liminal temple where we don't just survive what breaks us. We alchemize it. We make art from it. We let the pain purify the power beneath it. And with this breath, the transmission begins. Today, we enter one of the deepest initiations on the spiritual path. Not a concept, not a coping mechanism, but a practice, a path, a priesthood. This is the art of alchemy. And I don't mean turning lead into gold in the old world sense. I mean turning the weight of your grief, the sting of your betrayal, the collapse of your dreams, into wisdom, into embodiment, into the radiant flame of who you were always meant to be. Pain is not your enemy, but it is your raw material. It is the fire that refines the truth of your becoming. But only if you know how to hold it. Only if you know how to let it pass through you, instead of nesting inside you. In this episode, we'll explore what alchemy really is and how to walk the path of transmutation. Why pain isn't here to punish you, but to reveal you. How to work with betrayal, heartbreak, and failure as sacred initiators. And a real client story of how spiritual alchemy reclaimed her life. Practices and rituals to begin transforming your own story into power. And we'll end with a ritual affirmation to root this work into your body. Because the truth is, you are not broken. You are burning. And what survives the fire was always you. Before we begin, a gentle reminder, this podcast is a sacred offering, not a substitute for therapy. If this journey speaks to your soul, you'll find deeper support in the link in bio. From Reiki-infused ritual tools to one-on-one coaching to our sanctuary space and the Grey Ethereus Academy for soul initiates. And now, place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath into your belly. Feel the place that aches, the place that burns. That's where your power is waiting. Let's begin. What is alchemy? Alchemy in its original form was the mystical science transformation, turning base metals into gold. But the true alchemists were never just working with metal. They were working with matter and spirit, with shadow and light, with the dense pain of the human condition and the divine spark hidden within it. Spiritual alchemy is a process of transmuting pain, limitation, and illusion into wisdom, power, and embodiment. It's the sacred path of becoming, not by escaping your wounds, but by descending into them, by understanding them, by letting them break open what no longer serves, so something holy can rise in its place. Emotional alchemy, then, is one of its most viral forms. It's when you learn to hold your grief, your rage, your shame, without bypassing or drowning in it. You let it move. You give it a name. You breathe into it, bless it, and give it a job to teach you, not torment you. In alchemy, we don't demonize darkness. We recognize that darkness is the womb of light, that the chaos you've endured wasn't a curse, but a crucible. It burned away what wasn't yours. It forced you to choose yourself. It made you feel, for the first time, that you are still here, even after everything fell apart. Pain is not the opposite of power. It is the portal to it. And just like the phoenix, your rebirth doesn't begin in the sky. It begins in the ashes. There are 3 kinds of pain that often cracks us open the deepest. Each one is a fire. Each one is an invitation. But most of us are never taught how to hold these flames. We're taught to suppress, to distract, to numb, to perform. And in doing so, we bury the alchemy. Let's name them, let's meet them, and let's let them speak. Number 1, betrayal. Betrayal burns because it tears the veil. It shows us who someone really is or who they always were. It forces us to reconcile illusion with reality. But betrayal also burns away the fantasy that was keeping us stuck. The hope that they would change. The story that they would show up. The belief that if we just gave more, they would finally see our worth. Betrayal is the fire that says no more pretending. It is the fire that says, now you choose you. And when you do, when you stop chasing closure from the one who hurt you, you reclaim something holy, your voice, your boundary, and your truth. Number 2, heartbreak. Heartbreak is not just about loss. It's about the death of possibility, the future you saw, the love you believed in, the pieces of yourself you wrapped around someone else. But heartbreak is also a teacher of tenderness. It reveals how deeply you can love, how bravely you showed up, and how human you really are. The pain is proof of your capacity. And if you let it, heartbreak can open your heart wider, not just to another, but to yourself. It can birth a new kind of devotion, one that doesn't abandon you in the process. And number 3, failure. Failure is the fire we fear the most, especially in a world obsessed with image, success, and speed. Failure is sacred because it humbles the ego. It realigns the path, and it forces you to ask, what was I building? Was it truly for me? Failure doesn't mean you were wrong. Sometimes it means the version of you who began the journey is no longer the one meant to finish it. And when you let the identity of achievement fall away, what's left is the truth, the desire that still burns, the call that still whispers. Failure can be the fire that reveals what's real. Each of these fires, betrayal, heartbreak, and failure, they hurt, but they purify. But if you hold them with reverence, they transmute. You rise, not in spite of the fire, but because of it. I once worked with a woman who had lost herself in a relationship that was on the surface loving, but beneath the surface, it was built on submission, silence, and self-sacrifice. For years, she played the role of the good partner. She gave endlessly. She softened every conflict. She made herself small so he could feel big. She believed that love meant endurance, that devotion meant disappearing. He cheated on her, lied to her, dismissed her. Still, she stayed. Because the wound of unworthiness whispered, if I can just love him better, maybe he'll finally choose me. But something cracked the illusion. It wasn't a loud moment, it was quiet. A subtle but undeniable shift. She realized he doesn't value me, and I've stopped valuing myself. That realization was the beginning of her sacred death. The version of her that tolerated breadcrumbs began to die. The version that made excuses, who needed his validation to feel whole, that self began to dissolve. Through our coaching sessions, Reiki healing with candle work, she didn't just walk away from the relationship. She walked back to herself. She reclaimed her voice. She stopped apologizing for her truth. She restructured her business. She reconnected with her body. And for the first time in years, she started living for her. She didn't just leave a man. She left an identity. And that's the power of sacred endings. They are not just breakups. They are initiations. Here's the truth many don't tell you. Healing isn't just about getting over it. It is not about rushing through grief, bypassing anger, or pretending you're fine. True healing is alchemical. It's the process of turning your path into power, not by erasing the wound, but by extracting its wisdom. This is where spiritual fire enters, where you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is this here to initiate in me? And here's how we begin to transmute. Step number 1, witness the wound without shame. Let yourself feel what was never allowed. Grieve fully. Rage honestly. Your emotions are not weaknesses, they are sacred guides. Write what you never said. Scream into a pillow. Let your body release the energy it held for too long. This is the clearing. Step 2, name the pattern, not just the person. Your healing isn't about them. It's about what in you stayed, tolerated, feared leaving. Ask yourself, what did this mirror in me? Where did I abandon myself to keep the peace? What role was I still performing? This transforms heartbreak into self-awareness, and awareness is where alchemy begins. Step 3, burn the old spell. Speak aloud the pattern you're done repeating. For example, I now release the belief that I must betray myself to be loved. I break this contract and I call my power back. Burn this letter. Take a salt bath. Seal it with intention. This pain becomes my passage. This fire becomes my becoming. And step 4, embody the new frequency. The ritual is not complete until it lives in your body. So walk differently. Speak from truth, not fear. Say no when you mean it. Choose peace over chaos. Choose depth over performance. Choose self over survival. This is where you become the new self, the sacred death made space for. Alchemy is not perfection. It is the art of making beauty from what once broke you, of wearing your scars as symbols of wisdom, of standing in your wholeness, not because nothing hurt you, but because you let it change you. This is where the phoenix rises. Now ask yourself, what are you alchemizing right now? So I need you to take a deep breath. Let the silence speak. Let the echo of your own heart guide you inward. And now ask, what pain am I still carrying that's ready to be transmuted? And what am I ready to release? What old story am I still living in that no longer honors who I've become? This is the sacred mirror, the moment when your healing becomes a choice. You don't need to have all the answers yet. You only need to be honest, because the willingness to look is the first act of alchemy. Hold your pain like a teacher, hold your grief like a ritual, and hold your truth like a flame. This is how you begin to transmute. Not someday, not after it's perfect, but now, right here, right where it hurts, right where your power has been waiting. Beautiful soul, you just walked through the fires of transformation, not as a victim, but as an alchemist. If no one told you this before, you didn't just survive what happened to you. You transmuted it. You let it shape your strength without hardening your heart. And that is a sacred act of power. You've learned that endings can be initiations. That pain is a portal. That betrayal, heartbreak, and failure are not final chapters, but thresholds to the next version of you. So as we close this transmission, ask yourself gently, what power am I ready to reclaim? What truth within me is finally ready to rise? Know that you are not broken. You are becoming. You are not too much. You are finally enough for yourself. You are not late. You are right on divine time. If this episode stirred something deep in your spirit, I invite you to share it. Leave a review. Send it to someone still holding their own pain like a secret. Let this be a permission slip to rise. And if you're ready to go deeper, you'll find all the links below. From one-on-one intuitive coaching to Reiki-infused ritual candles to our light and shadow sanctuary, where we rise together every week. And if your soul is ready for full initiation, I welcome you to join Grey Ethereus Academy, my private mystery school where we walk the sacred path of shadow alchemy, energetic mastery, and soul remembrance. For daily sacred reminders and transmissions, follow me on TikTok at Grey Ethereus. You are never alone on this path. And next time, on the Light and Shadow podcast, we'll dive into spiritual sovereignty. How to stop outsourcing your intuition, reclaim your truth, and walk your path with clarity and conviction. Until then, breathe deep. Stand tall. Let the version of you who once had to survive rest. Because the one who came to live is now ready to lead. Remember, the magic is already within you. You are more powerful than you know. Until next time.